Hi, Coach. Finished off the month of September perfect, 4-0. Good win for you guys.
Yeah.
Didn't have to come back from behind in the fourth quarter this time. What were you most pleased with about your team from this last game?
To be able to play the 4 quarters that we did, and also to play the bench that we did, for guys to come in and continue to step up and keep the momentum going. It's always one of those challenges. You learn the most by playing the game, but there's also sometimes some hard knocks of when you're first getting your experience playing the game. I thought the reserve guys that came in did a great job of holding up the standard and giving us some tremendous effort, and just they played fast, which is something you want to be able to play this game fast. It's the most fun that way, and so I'm really pleased with the good collective group and how they took the field.
The one thing I've noticed about this team, like you just said, you're very balanced throughout the team. And one of the things I noticed the last couple of weeks is running back Baltazar that no one really talked about in camp, and he's been pressing the action the last 2 weeks, and he's really played well.
Yeah, and I like that. Obviously, with Scooby, he's our starter, and he's a tremendous athlete. But then you got a guy like Aaron Baltazar behind him that can come in there and give us the type of work that we want here. You know, we pride ourselves in being able to run the football. And then you got a guy like a Ray Riley who came in there in his time and played well. You know, Chris Solomon got some carries also. You know, he's a established running back. So for us to be able to have a stable full of running backs of guys that we can count on, I think in this league, it's going to help us go a long way, particularly against an opponent like Western Oregon, who I think has one of the better defenses in this whole league with the large D-line they have. So, you know, a game like this, guys can get the experience, guys can show that they know the system, that they understand the standard that we want, and, you know, you keep growing by getting reps, and that's a great thing about this last game.
And it looks like, is it the first 2 weeks that kind of gave you guys a lot of confidence? Because you look like a very confident football team right now.
Yeah, you know, when guys have the right attitude, I think that helps them grow to where they can have the confidence produced by how you prepare. And our guys have done an outstanding job of preparing. And so every Monday through all the way going to the game of Saturday, to really keep a focused mind and prepare themselves very well. So those first 2 games, to be able to start off with West Texas and a Humboldt, who are 2 quality opponents. You know, they're teams that are physical, they're teams that are fast. You know, you're going to earn your stripes early on and figure out who you have. So our team rose to the challenge, and they continue to keep rising the challenge. I expect them in this team meeting we have a little later on that they're going to want to know how they can get better, and that if they can keep that attitude, I think we got a long ways to go before this team even sees their full potential.
And you got another tough one with Western Oregon this week. Talk about them.
Yeah, Western Oregon is a very good team, established team in this league. You know, I mentioned earlier, their defense is led by an extremely large D-line. I think they're a physical bunch. They played against one of the best offenses there are in the country in Humboldt State, and be able to got out a win on those guys. The first half and the second half are 2 completely halves, and then when you watch that game, and I think what Western Oregon did well is they figured out, you know, who their D-line is, how they're going to play, how they're going to attack things, and so they're strong, they're physical. I thought, you know, offensively they keep getting better. You know, Malik Braxton, their running back, had a heck of a game against Humboldt, and so he's a heck of a weapon. He's can do amazing jump cuts, and he'll cut back Ken's grain, and then one play he cuts all the way across the grain, kind of Marcus Allen-esque. So I'm sure they're going to feed him and get him going. And then Philip Felumai is a quarterback who last year came in sparingly with more of a run pass option. He was their run guy for their offense. Now as he takes over the reins, I've seen him establish his arm. I mean, he's making some great throws. He's throwing the field comebacks. He's throwing the play action ball extremely well. And you know, and they have one of the best weapons in the country in Paul Rivas, a return man. Their special teams are very good, and so it's a 3-phase game coming up this week, and we got to make sure we're prepared for the challenge.
And then as you think about your defense, I mean, 9 sacks, 2 interceptions against Simon Fraser, and you're in the national leaders in both of those categories. How do those 2 areas correlate, and how happy are you with where your defense is at this point in the year?
Yeah, I love great defense. We pride ourselves on defense around here. We understand that it's a big part of giving yourself a chance to win. You know, as a head coach, you have a formula for what we feel like you help win ball games. And in our offense, we're able to run the ball. Our defense is able to create pressure. We're able to play man coverage and get those turnovers. Getting the ball back is the number one thing. Give the offense more times to get it. So the statistical leaders is great. I think what I like most is our team's 4-0. and that collectively our group is understands their role to helping this team win, so that Azusa Pacific ends out on top. And I think that's the mindset of the coordinators, mindset of the assistant coaches, and it trickles down to all the players. Everybody understands we have a role, and in that role we're going to be great at it, and we're going to grow, we're going to learn. And if we keep that attitude every single day, I think, like I said, we've got a bright future ahead of us. As soon as people start to think that yesterday's results will produce tomorrow's fruit, it's not the case. Every opponent is going to be a tough one, and every week's a season. That's our mindset around here.
Victor, how have you been able to fight off a sense maybe of complacency, especially after this solid start? You could have had a letdown on Saturday. Certainly did not have one. Is that leadership from within the team as well as what the coaches has been telling some of the players?
Yeah, no, I think it speaks a lot who this team is. It speaks a lot of the leadership who this team is. We have the leadership council meets every week, and they sense it. There's definitely an attitude of, hey, let's go be great. We're not asking permission for that, but in the meantime, they understand that greatness is part of your preparation. Greatness is part of your daily attitude. It's not something that you arrive in, and so. Greatness is a character trait. It's not an accomplishment, and so that's what they understand. Is they want to be great in this game. They're putting their attention and focus on it. And if you're going to do something, do it to be the very best. And so the attitude that of our leadership, from the seniors to the whole leadership council. I think there's a hunger, but that humility stays at that razor's edge. So they know that, hey, we have to get better each week. And so when they see the tape, they're looking to say, how do we get better? As soon as our team if our team starts to be defensive about correction and all that, that's when the bad stuff starts to happen. I mean, you got to keep growing. You know, who this team's going to be this next week has to be better, because people, they see you on film, they understand you, they evaluate you. And if we lose that attitude of how to get better every day, then I think we miss out on the big picture of life too. That's just, you got to keep waking up and going for it.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you.